Okay, so this week we talked about participatory culture. This photo I included is a group cosplay of Black Butler, which was a popular anime that I watched growing up. For the readings, we focused mainly on Henry Jenkins and the other contributors to the works of confronting the challenges of participatory culture and the article by Rebecca W. Black, which is online fan fiction. So, for Jenkins, the key takeaway from this reading is the definition of participatory culture and how it's viewed in relation to implementing into the classroom for positive technological learning. I have a quote where it's a little bit long, but it says the affinity spaces offer powerful opportunities for learning because they are sustained by common endeavors that bridge differences, age, class, race, gender, and educational level, and because people can participate in various ways according to their skills and interests, because they depend on peer to peer teaching, with each participant constantly motivated to acquire new knowledge or refine their existing skills, and because they allow each participant to feel like an expert while tapping the expertise of others. This is something that also is reflective in Rebecca Black's studies with youth who participate in a fan fiction culture as they assume the roles of either an author or a reader. For the videos we watched, it was basically about how a community interacts in these affinity spaces, and it is mostly about the exchange of knowledge and skill sets, and they were trying to figure out how participatory cultures can help in a classroom setting and allow students to kind of feed off each other's knowledge and skill sets so that they can form a strong community bond and build this cultural exchange. Now, for the reactions, I guess what had surprised me was that I didn't really expect participatory cultures to kind of get into the school setting, but when we read the Jenkins article, it was kind of clear to me that, as we see two of these students, Ashley and Blake Ross, they both had a connection to the Sim City or the Sims Online games, which were basically like games that you go into and it's kind of like a second life. Like you develop your own character and you become whatever you want in these games, or you control whatever happens in these games. And in terms of like fan fiction sites, that was my experience growing up with participatory cultures. I was a frequent user of Wattpad. I would not only just read, but I would also post my own chapters of like self-insert or characters that were my original content into animes or shows that I used to watch, and I really loved to build these stories, and I felt like it helped me grow in my English classes or my writing classes where I basically had to write out you know um, creative stories like every week. This changed my way of thinking because I I didn't see the connection at first, but when I first read that article of the Sim City and then kind of started to understand, okay, participatory culture is the cultural exchange of ideas and skill sets, I understood because I was on forums trying to figure out, either cheats for my sim game so that I can basically earn $1 million my first day of playing The Sims 3, and I would also contribute onto these online forums where it's like I figured out this little cheat, and it was more ways to make the game fun, and it felt like, yes, like this was building a community off cultural exchange, and you basically became like a gamer who had more insight to the game and not just playing it for the base game that was put out by, EA games. So I did really like the participatory culture studies. I feel that it is important to try to implement that into our classroom setting so that students can have that sense of, like I can learn from you and you can learn from me. Thank you.